Hello friends, hope all of you are doing great. We will continue with our online classes. Today we shall start with the first part of the nervous system. Human nervous system regulates all our bodily functions and our responses to the external and internal environment. From our most primitive needs, for example, eating, sleeping and so on, to our extremely sophisticated endeavors, for example, science, art, music, etc. Almost all of these are not possible without our nervous system. There are two main regulatory systems in the body which controls all other systems of the body. These are the endocrine system and the nervous system. The major function of the nervous system is the coordination of rapid and precise responses of the external and internal stimulus. Let's suppose this is the neural tube of a 4-week-old embryo. This blue part represents the prosencephalon, this purple part represents the mesencephalon or the midbrain, this is the forebrain, and rhombencephalon or the hindbrain. The same neural tube, if we look at the evolutionary history, the first part of the brain to appear was the hindbrain in the reptiles. The hindbrain appeared almost 500 million years ago. The next part of the brain to appear in the evolutionary history is the midbrain in mammals around 250 to 300 million years ago, and the last to appear is the forebrain around 200 million years ago. This is the adult brain. The adult brain is covered by the cranial bones or the skull, and this skull gives protection to the very sophisticated organ, that is the brain. For our convenience, the brain can be divided into 4 major parts. They are cerebrum, the limbic system, this red portion or the brain stem, which includes the midbrain pons, medulla oblongata and the cerebellum. So the four parts of the brain are the brain stem, cerebellum, this limbic system and the cerebrum. We will discuss each of these one by one. Let's start with the brain stem. As we have seen, the brain stem evolved around 500 million years ago. The brain stem is also called as the reptilian brain or the primitive brain. The major function of the brain stem are breathing, circulation, digestion. Cerebellum. In the evolutionary history, it appeared around 400 million years ago. It is also known as the little brain or the hindbrain. The major functions are coordination of muscle movement, it maintains balance and posture, and it helps in the muscle memory. Now, this muscle memory is very useful, as you can understand. Suppose you are a new swimmer, you are a novice and you learnt swimming over a period of say 3 months. If there is no muscle memory, after 1 year, say when you again jumped into the river, you again had to undergo the training. But thanks to our muscle memory, we don't have to undergo this process over and over again. Next comes the limbic system. If we look at the evolution, it evolved around 250 million years ago. The limbic system consists of primary structures. They are amygdala, hippocampus, thalamus, hypothalamus, basal ganglia, and cingulate gyrus. The major function of the limbic system includes the 4 F's. You can remember by the mnemonic 4 F's. What are the 4 F's? First is fight, flight, feeding, and reproduction. Cerebrum. Cerebrum consists of 3/4 of the brain's volume, and it is covered by 1/8 inch thick, densely packed nerve cells known as the cerebral cortex. The major functions of the cerebrum includes integration of data, learning, reasoning, creativity, and so on. Now the cerebral cortex can be divided into right and left hemispheres. We will go into the details in our subsequent classes, but traditionally each hemisphere can be divided into 4 lobes. The lobes are, as you can see, there are 4 lobes. The lobes are named as frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and the occipital lobe. Nervous system can also be organized or divided into 2 parts: the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Now the central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system is that part of the nervous system apart from the brain and the spinal cord. So all nervous tissues except the brain and the spinal cord classifies as the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system can further be divided into sensory peripheral nervous system and motor peripheral nervous system. Let's discuss the important function of the central nervous system. There are many functions of the central nervous system, but the primary function of the central nervous system is to receive input from the sensory peripheral nervous system. So the primary function is to receive the input. As you can see, the input is represented by this red arrow from the sensory peripheral nervous system. It goes to the central nervous system. In the central nervous system, there is processing of this information. After this information is processed in the central nervous system sends motor commands to the motor peripheral nervous system. Let's see with the help of an example. Suppose you are sitting in the lecture hall at 9 a.m. and the lecturer, he hasn't entered the auditorium, and your roommate with whom you had a quarrel yesterday, he entered. So you get a stimulus and the central nervous system immediately processes that information and it sends a motor response. You may turn away your face from your roommate whom you had quarreled the night before. This is just an example. Don't quarrel. This is just an example. Conversely, after 5 minutes, your girlfriend enters and you see the that sensory input goes to your nervous system. It processes the information. Obviously, these processing and this information transmission occurs in milliseconds, in a very short amount of time. The central nervous system then sends the command to the motor peripheral nervous system. You get up and you go and greet your girlfriend. So this is the main function of the central nervous system. It processes the information, and information here in our case, it is the sensory input, and it sends motor signals to the motor peripheral nervous system. Now, sensory peripheral nervous system can be subdivided into spatial sensations, areas of spatial sensations, and areas of general sensations. Now, spatial sensations includes sensation of vision, sensation of hearing, taste, smell, etc. And general sensation, usually it is from non-specific areas like skin. The motor peripheral nervous system is also subdivided into two parts: the voluntary or somatic motor system and the involuntary or autonomic motor system. The voluntary or somatic motor system, an example might be moving your hand. It is under your voluntary control. The involuntary motor system, for example, your heart rate, it is not directly, usually it is not directly under your control. Involuntary motor system can further be subdivided into sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. We shall go into great details in our upcoming classes, but for now on, just remember, this involuntary motor system is subdivided into sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic, or it is also known as fight or flight response, fight or flight. And parasympathetic system, it is known as rest or digest response, rest and digest response. So let's recap very quickly. Nervous system is divided into central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system mainly consists of the brain and the spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system is that part of the nervous system which contains all other parts except the brain and the spinal cord. When stimulus arises from the environment or from internally, from inside our bodies, the sensory peripheral nervous system sends signals. You can see this arrow. This signal goes to the central nervous system. Yet there is processing of the information, and central nervous system, this orange arrow represents the motor response. It comes to the motor peripheral nervous system, and so on, and we have the response accordingly as we have discussed. So that is all for the first part. We will continue with the next part very soon, and I've just come back from our we had this hospital duty. You know, we are all doing this COVID-19 fever clinic duties, so it's a very hectic schedule now. We have to travel, so you can identify me. This is me, and this is almost you can't identify because of the mask and the dresses, but anyway, so thank you so much for your attention. We will continue in the next class. Thank you.